This Browns QB situation is a classic weighting of short-term risk versus long-term upside, and every move this week matters. To understand what's at stake, you've got to map out four very different profiles on one roster. Joe Flacco, the veteran safe hand; Kenny Pickett, the up-and-down young starter with some pedigree; Gabriel, a mid-round rookie the club invested a draft pick in; and Shedeur, the high-profile fifth-rounder who exploded on social media after his preseason debut, but entered camp with almost no first-team reps and is now banged up. Each option carries a different mix of reliability, upside, and organizational cost, so the starter decision is as much strategy as it is talent evaluation. Start with the conservative path. Flacco as Week 1 starter. That's the minimize volatility choice. He's a known quantity, can run a game plan, manage the clock, and reduce the chance of an early season collapse that drains confidence and momentum. If Cleveland wants to remain competitive immediately, and if the front office thinks the roster around the QB is capable of winning now, putting an experienced veteran on tape for the first few weeks buys time to rehabilitate rookies and clean up schematic stuff without sacrificing wins. It also preserves the developmental arc for Gabriel and Sanders. Bring them along in controlled chunks, give them situational reps, and evaluate them later when the heat of the regular season isn't bearing down. The aggressive path would be to hand the reins to a rookie, and that's where the trade-offs get loud. Putting a rookie in from day one accelerates learning under real game pressure and lets you see whether he's genuinely the future. But the downside is obvious. Rookies make rookie mistakes. Turnovers, misreads, and timing issues can cost games and sour the locker room. With Sanders' public profile, massive attention, huge expectations, the risk is even more consequential. If he struggles early, the PR fallout is immediate. If he succeeds, the team fast-forwards the rebuild. So the Browns must decide, are they building for this season or the next several seasons? That calculation is complicated by injuries and by the most important resource in this window, reps. Shedeur's oblique strain is a particularly painful variable because preseason and joint practices are where the coaching staff gets live evidence of who's ready. Sanders' first preseason outing was impressive, but it mattered because it created a baseline. Now missing practice reps reduces the sample size. For evaluators, game tape plus controlled 11-on-11 work are non-negotiable inputs. Missing multiple opportunities to mix with the one, limits the staff's ability to trust him for Week 1. Gabriel, by contrast, had his own mistakes against the Eagles, a pick six, a fumbled handoff, but he at least put more live reps on tape this week. Availability, as usual, becomes a decisive trait. The roster math adds another layer. Carrying 4 quarterbacks into the regular season is rare because a 53-man roster is tight and every roster spot has opportunity cost. Keeping 4 QBs can make sense if multiple guys have clear starter upside and the team fears losing a young asset on waivers, or if injuries are stacking up, but usually teams carry 3 and move on. If the Browns keep 4, they're sacrificing depth at another position. If they cut someone like Pickett or Gabriel, they risk looking wrong if that player blossoms elsewhere. That's why the decision requires the coaching staff to be crystal clear about their timeline and evaluation checkpoints. Media and fan pressure deserve mention too. Shedeur's brand brings enormous external noise. Management that reacts to the hype meter can get whipsawed. Promote too early and you risk public embarrassment if a rookie flounders. Delay promotion and you get accused of mishandling talent. The coaching staff's job is to insulate the locker room from that noise while still being transparent about criteria. One productive move is to publish the process. What metrics and situations will determine a promotion, which practice reps matter most, how many preseason snaps are considered sufficient. That reduces speculation and gives the team cover for deliberate decisions. So what should the Browns do realistically? The safest, most strategically sound path is phased. Open the regular season with Flacco if the team's short-term goal is competitiveness and if he's still the cleanest chain for executing the offense. Use the final preseason game and the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season to maintain a controlled developmental program for Gabriel and Sanders. Series work, scripted packages, and planned live reps in lower-stakes situations. Establish explicit performance thresholds. completion percentage on NFL level pressure, turnover rate, third down efficiency in live play, red zone decision success, that, once met, trigger a more serious promotion conversation. That approach keeps the club competitive now while still giving both rookies a fair, measurable path forward. If the team's internal evaluation tilts toward long term construction, i.e., they fundamentally believe one rookie is the answer, they should still not rush it. An incremental plan that scales game responsibility, turn one package into a half a game, then a start, mitigates downside while accelerating growth. And medical prudence matters. Oblique injuries can linger, so rushing Sanders back would be counterproductive for both performance and durability. Bottom line, this is not just about who throws the prettiest pass in August. It's about roster economics, injury timing, rep availability, and a franchise narrative. The Browns have to choose a path, short-term safety or long-term investment, and then execute it with disciplined, measurable steps. Whatever they pick, clarity and consistency will be what keeps the competition healthy and the process defensible. Kevin Stefanski's timeline, naming a Week 1 starter before the preseason finale, feels more procedural than dramatic, but it forces a real decision after a chaotic camp: veteran stability or a younger upside play. Here's a tight 3-minute breakdown of the options, what the choice would mean for Cleveland, and the signals to watch this week. The candidates: clean and simple. Joe Flacco, the clear veteran choice. He's been getting most of the first-team reps, looks comfortable in Stefanski's systems, and brings short-term reliability and the ability to manage the offense while the coaching staff evaluates other pieces. Downsides: he's 40, not a long-term answer, and offers limited upside or mobility. Kenny Pickett, originally viewed as a realistic bridge option. Injuries, hamstring, have cost him reps and momentum. If healthy and sharp, he's a reasonable younger veteran with starting experience. If the hamstring lingers, his readiness is legitimately in question. Dillon Gabriel, third-round pick with pro traits and a decent Saturday showing, 13-18, 143 yards, but also the glaring mistakes: pick six, fumble. Turnover-prone moments in preseason tape are harder to forgive when job security is thin. Shedeur Sanders, the high-ceiling, high-profile rookie whose electric preseason debut turned heads and ratings, but who is currently banged up, oblique, had limited first-team reps and is still learning Stefanski's verbiage. Upside is real. Trustworthiness as a Week 1 starter is not yet proven. What each choice signals about the Browns: starting Flacco equals win now and conservative. It preserves the season, gives the coaching staff time to finish evaluating the youngsters, and minimizes risk against a tough Bengals opener. Choosing a rookie younger QB equal a clearer pivot toward rebuilding at QB, a willingness to take growing pains, and a statement of confidence in long-term upside. Roster math and logistics. Carrying 4 QBs is unusual but not impossible. If the Browns name Flacco Week 1, they'll likely keep 3 QBs, Flacco plus 2 younger guys, unless they value developmental depth and special packages. Injuries complicate evaluation windows. Every missed practice or preseason snap matters for late August decisions and final roster cuts, October 27. What to watch this week? Actionable signals. 1. Who gets the most first-team reps in practice? Stefanski's rep distribution in joint practices versus Rams will be telling. 2. Medical updates. Pickett's hamstring and Sanders' oblique. Timelines matter. If either shows sharpness in live reps, that changes everything. 3. Stefanski's messaging. Is he framing this as short-term decision or we believe in this person moving forward? Tone equals intent. 4. Preseason finale performance. Even short stretches of sharp play from a rookie can force a rethink. A sloppy outing from a veteran can create pressure to flip. Short take recommendation. Given the roster uncertainties and the Bengals Week 1 matchup, naming Joe Flacco as the Week 1 starter is the prudent move. It protects the team and preserves options. But the Browns must keep their short leash on performance and be flexible. If a young QB proves ready in the final week, the staff should be prepared to pivot. This week isn't about crowning a future franchise QB. It's about minimizing risk while keeping developmental paths open.